one else to help, and that is one of the main reasons why people drown on these dives. It is a 4-hour journey from Johannesburg to Wondergat. We'll be camping for 2 weeks, and except for the weekend divers, we'll have the whole magical place for ourselves. Which is wonderful, except that with us two being the only divers here and diving together, there is no one else to call or to come looking for us at the bottom should we run into trouble. We'll be doing a series of dives, starting at just over 30 meters and building our way up, or should I say down, to 60 meters. If I don't chicken out beforehand. Sunrise, and after a late night braai, it is only Michael, the cameraman, and Wondergat's 2 wild dogs, Buddy and Turbo, who are alive. And of course Smirry, whose previous experience at running hunting camps makes him the most important person around here. Smirry is short for Smirnoff. Really. Oom Willie, who runs Wondergat, joins us for early coffee. But breakfast will have to wait till after the first dive.
So die hele doel is, ons word net 'n bietjie gemaklik en ons bou 'n bietjie op vir die groot duik. Ons moet nie kyk of ons dieper as 40 meter gaan op hierdie ene nie. En ons kan nie langer as so 6 cm op die bodem wees.
I'm glad we're not going into the cave yet. There are 2 floating steel boxes in the hole, attached to 2 grids on the bottom. We drop on the northern one. It is quite spooky, especially when I see the first memorial plaque on the grid. Depth, 37 meters, or rather 8 martinis, I think, as we follow the line to the south grid. There is not much to see down here. Everything seems different in the twilight that surrounds us. It is extremely quiet, and even my breathing sounds different to the shallower dives I'm used to. Or is it just my imagination? From the south grid, we swim past the cave mouth to the bell house. The line arrows always point towards the exit to prevent divers from accidentally entering the cave. We have tied a decompression trapeze to the bell house for use after the cave dives. For me, the bell house is the strangest place in Wondergat. It has an eerie quality to it. The messages to check your bottom time, your air and your buddy comes as a jolt to my more than slightly narcotic mind. And suddenly, I'm not too sure when last I did check any of those. Other Johann is still fine with the camera, and we have plenty of air, but it is time to start ascending. Sign language for happiness. Because I have 2 independent cylinders on my back, I have to keep changing my breathing source to prevent myself from becoming lopsided. The obvious rule is to first check whether the new one works before you remove the current one from your mouth. They are also color-coded so I don't get confused while I'm stoned. My computer tells me when I'm ascending too fast or when I need to make a deco stop. Smirry doesn't even swim and is convinced that there is a monster in the bottom of the hole, so he keeps a helpless eye on the bubbles while we're under. The afterglow I get whenever I come out of this liquid dream is undescribable. It also makes me hungry.
Daar's net een ding lekkerder as duik en dis die ontbyt na die duik.
Met baie vetterige kos eet laat die bubbles deur jou bloedstroom kan vloei.
Ja, nie vashak nie.
Then it is time to go to Oom Willie to fill the extra cylinders we will use for decompression on the deeper, longer dives. Oom Willie is a master gas blender. In these, we want a mix where the oxygen ratio is pushed up from 22% to 60%. When used deeper than 18 meters, it will be extremely dangerous. But shallower than that, it will cut our forced decompression times by half. Divers need to rest often.
Vir ons is 3, 6 en 9, 12, 15.
Now for the next dive.
Ek het al baie hierdie
We want to go down to 40 meters and about 15 across into the cave.
belangrik is op hierdie is.
Careful planning of bottom time and decompression stops are crucial, as it will determine how much air we need and whether we bend or not. Because there is no late afternoon sun reaching the water level, it gets dark a lot quicker on the way down to the grid. Our destination just inside the cave is known as the cemetery, for obvious reasons. It feels both serene and unnerving at the same time, being surrounded by memorial stones for dead divers at this depth and having the euphoric feeling of about 9 martinis on the other. It is also the knowledge that at this point I'm stuck here and can't just get out because I want to. That scares me. All in all, 29 people have died in Wondergat, and I have no wish to become number 30. But this is the one that rattles me. It is not the flowers or the doll, it is the fact that Erna was the girl on the Johann Botha expedition. Even back on the surface, images of death won't leave me, as I watch a rock lizard who became the unlikely dinner for a crab. In vain, even Smirnov tries to cheer me up.
Ek wil huis toe gaan, mama toe. Die rivier is vol met trane. Abagi want vanaand kom my wolle, seker maar ek is so dronk klappie.
But I think the full moon is getting to me. Erna drowned in Badgat in 2001 on a preparation dive for the same coelacanth expedition. The plaque was put here at Wondergat at a small ceremony by friends and her husband Pieter.
Sy's dood in Badgat, maar ons het dit hier kom insit omdat ons albei hier begin duik het en sy was absoluut verlief op Wondergat geweest.
The day after Rian drowned, I also interviewed another legend who was on that same fateful dive. Known to everyone as Prof. Johnny, he was, amongst other things, the first person ever to dive 100 meters in South Africa. And he also tried to tell me that deep diving wasn't for everyone.
It's not for everybody. Not everybody's interested. Most people, in fact, look at diving as a means of getting out onto that reef and shallow, looking at the little animals on the reef, and they're not interested in going deeper.
In 2004, Prof. Johnny drowned at Sodwana at 54 meters. That night, a strange girl with a fire torch tries to lure me into the water in my dreams. I don't sleep well, and I'm up early. Today is the first time I will go to 50 meters. And yes, I am scared, but also determined. I have to make it today, or else I'll never see the back of the cave and never understand what it is about. To make matters worse, Johann decided that I must lead the dive. But I know he'll be right next to me.
Kom maar by jou. Okay, ons gaan agter die grid. Gaan ons in die grot in. Ons gaan eers tot by Taakmag. Okay. Dis klaar by Taakmag. Ons gaan draai by Taakmag op 9 minute. Okay. Klaar by Taakmag en kom ons terug. Ons gaan ons voor ons uit die grot uitkom links draai en dan gaan ons na die grafstene toe. Okay. Ons gaan by die grafstene vibe so 13, 14 minute. Okay, wag. En dan gaan ons nie terug grid nie, dan gaan ons met die grafsteen af reguit uit die bek van die grot uit na die ballast en dan bites. So ons later ons begin op die meter moet ons van ons gasse ry. 18, 17.8 is eintlik reg, okay? En ek kry myne redelik op 50 bar en dan redelik weer op 100 bar.
The last thing I notice when I look back is that I can't see Smirry. And then we go. We don't waste time going down and have to keep equalizing to protect our eardrums from the rapid increase in pressure. Gratefully, as we descend, I feel my heartbeat slowing down. But I also realize that it could be an effect of the nitrogen narcosis setting in. And then it is into the cave. It is as quiet as it is dark. We check on each other by throwing a light circle on the cave floor. If okay, your buddy responds by making a circle inside yours. And then I see it below me, the mystical 50-meter mark. This sign was put up to remember the members of the task force who died here during training. The test for narcosis is to see if you can memorize the inscription and then recall it back on the surface. I finally made it to 50 meters. But we'll only be safe once we're back on the surface. We leave the line and cut across to the cemetery. It is not a good time to kick up silt. A lonely catfish that followed us down shows the way out. From the inside, the mouth of the cave looks like a giant shark's mouth. I wonder if Pinocchio had a similar view when he was inside the whale. My computer tells me that we have just gone into compulsory decompression time. And just as we reach the cemetery, I start to get the feeling that the 10 martinis is getting to my buddy. We can't stay too long, and as planned, we take a shortcut to the bell house, where our decompression trapeze is. It suddenly seems so light here that I have to remind myself we are still at almost 40 meters. We have to go up slowly, and as you ascend, the narcosis disappears and your brain clears up. I hope. I'm also feeling good. At 18 meters, we switch to the Nitrox 60 mix to bring down the deco time. You have to remember to also change the mode on your computer, otherwise it will give you the wrong stop information, and that could also kill you. Unbeknownst to us, we missed an entire thunderstorm while we were down in the cave. Hanging on to a deco bar is one of the most peaceful experiences I know. Time stands still. You are surrounded by water, with only the assuring sound of your bubbles and your buddy to keep you company. While I've got time on my hands, I check that our backup cylinders still seem fine. This one is the shallowest at 3 meters and is almost 90% oxygen. A good thing should one of us pick up a problem somewhere. I love diving. It is amazing to see the color of the other world returning as we get shallower. Smirry can see from our bubbles that we're almost out. He has to carry the cylinders up the stairs because we're not allowed to after a deep dive, as it could cause a diver to bend. And while he sorts out the coffee, we make breakfast. We are thinking of opening a diver's restaurant somewhere when we retire one day. We understand the diver's stomach.
Dit moet jou laaste inkom is gehad.
Nee man, I'm bietjie braai.
Jy is net honger. Ken jy hier so raak. Nou die aand se rou spirit wat.
We also understand the need to rest. And we take the rest of the day off to be ready for tomorrow's final dive. In the evening, we go big. I think it is the nitrogen build-up we've had over the last week.
Try nou hard. Ek het jou nog nie veel gevra die hele week nie. Try hard.
And then we go to bed early. I made it to 50 meters, but tomorrow will be the final test to see if I too can conquer the back of the cave. I'm feeling strong. I dream of bubbles and diving 500 meters. And of course the fiery nymph. But tonight it doesn't bother me. Sunrise, and we're beginning to feel the wear of 2 weeks of camping and diving.
I can't take it anymore. I can't. Kan jy nie koopra?
Look at that. Iggy. En kyk daai kant. Ja, en kyk hier. Ek kan met reg sê ek is gebyt. Mag jy nie om nie, want ek het stikstof narkose. En vandag is dalk die groot dag.
But it's not to be. We need to stock up on supplies anyway because we're expecting guests for our last weekend. When we come back, it is clear we missed an even bigger storm. But it seems to be clearing up, even though our tents and sleeping bags are drenched. Our guests are 3 of the world's best